You just saved the episode, Piers, for real.
From myself. I saved the episode from myself.
That's the best kind of save.
The podcast.
And for the next years, they installed a sort of puppet regime, I guess, supported by a group called the Mongoose gangs.
No.
No joke. Named so because they initially came together in a government program to eradicate the island's mongoose population.
Commonwealth, the former empire, now Commonwealth. Is it relevant? Probably not. But why not give this part a shot? Stay tuned. Here comes Uncommonwealth, the podcast.
And we're live from the Uncommonwealth Podcast Pandemia Studios, coming to you from around the globe. I'm here with the wonderful Katherine Rhodes and the fantastic Jimmy HVD and the immeasurable Adam Mueller.
These are some good adjectives, Piers.
Uncommonwealth.
Okay, friends, time for another exciting animal to discuss with you. And this one's a doozy. This is a fun one. I've been holding on to this for a while. It's an animal from my home country of Australia. It's none other than the saltwater crocodile.
Ooh.
A very
That sounds
fearsome
dangerous to hold on to, Jimmy.
Wow.
incredibly dangerous to hold. You don't want to. What is it? There's a show. An Australian show. It's like a spoof, kind of like of an outdoor explorer. His name's Russell Coight, and he famously said you don't want to run into a saltwater crocodile in a dark alley, but fortunately they're native to northern Australia and never found in dark alleys, so you're safe.
And dark alleys are freshwater, as everyone knows.
Okay, so here are some fun facts about the saltwater crocodile. One, they are the biggest reptiles on Earth. So I think most people know crocodiles are big, but so the largest crocodile I think they've ever had, at least in captivity that they've recorded, was 6.17 meters. So that's over 20 feet.
Wow.
And it weighed over a ton. It's 2,300
Wow.
pounds. So these things are massive. Another one which is really cool, because you guys have probably heard the expression crocodile tears.
Yeah.
Which is used to describe, I guess, someone who is insincere in their display of, I guess, sympathy or something. And the thing is, there's an urban myth that crocodiles cry when they eat their food, and it's like they're mourning for the victims that they're eating, which is not true. But crocodiles do actually cry when they eat food, because when they swallow, they do these giant gulps. So crocodiles do actually cry when they eat their food, though. But it's not because they're feeling sorry for the poor gazelle they're eating. It's because when they swallow, they put pressure on the tear glands, which makes them cry. So they genuinely do cry when they eat. Another fun fact: they can live for 70 years, which is pretty crazy.
Wow. Do they mate for life, like elephants?
I don't know. They don't. Also, do elephants do that? I didn't know that.
I thought it was penguins.
I think
Whatever.
swans. There's a lot of animals that do it.
There's a couple birds I'm familiar with it. No apex predators.
Are they great at climbing trees like elephants?
Do they run really fast?
Well, you know what, Adam? That's actually an urban myth that you can't outrun a crocodile. Because I think people's, that's a thing that they're so quick, they're faster than a racehorse, which is not true at all. An average human being can easily outrun a crocodile. Because I think crocodiles only run top speed is 20 kilometers an hour, and they can only maintain.
Don't you use a zigzag? Isn't that the thing when you're getting chased by an alligator or a crocodile? You got a zigzag.
I think you're meant to, but I think the same thing. You don't need to. It seems like it's an overkill.
In a straight line.
Yeah, right.
I thought they could catch us in a straight line.
No, that's why it's an urban myth, is that they can accelerate really quickly. They can go from standing still to grabbing something very, very quick. They're so explosive, but they can maintain it for all of 2 meters.
Right.
So they got a low top speed, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
They just get there.
I think their top speed is 20 kilometers an hour, and a fit human can run at 25 kilometers an hour.
Oh, a fit human. Okay. Yeah. We're talking about.
So that sounds like most humans would still get eaten, is what that
Yeah, it does. It does.
But put it this way.
I like the crocodiles are so manly that they have to pretend that they're not crying even when they are.
Yeah.
It's just so common.
It's pressure of my primal glands. Yeah.
The other thing, it's not just the tears for the crocodiles. I've also heard that crocodiles won't ask for directions.
I don't get it.
Perfect.
Because they're so manly, Jimmy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They have
Gotcha.
fake tears and they won't ask for directions.
Right.
Okay.
But
That was over my head.
But they can legally drive a car, so it's
Yes.
You were making jokes about crocodile facts. I'm here just with the science, Adam. So crocodiles have the strongest bite of any animal on Earth. So their bite is 3,700 pounds per square inch, or psi. So to put that put it in comparison, lions are only 650.
Wow.
So crocodiles 3,700. But the thing is, they're so strong biting downwards, but they're incredibly weak opening their mouth. So that's why you see like crocodile catchers, you can literally just hold their mouth closed.
You know?
Are crocodiles really that dangerous to humans though? It's like, is it like sharks? Like they got a bad rap.
I think crocodiles are significantly more dangerous than sharks. Like if you're in crocodile infested
How about
water,
elephants?
it'll be yeah.
And
So-
alligators, on the other hand, aren't really a threat to humans. Little dogs and stuff, but you're okay swimming in alligator-infested
Oh,
water.
really?
All right, final crocodile fact is that they can't chew. So in order to like digest and break up their food, they often will swallow stones. So they have like essentially like ballast just sitting in their digestive tract to help like break up the food that they swallow. You know, they swallow like a whole leg of a gazelle or whatever, and it's broken up by they've just got a bunch of like, gravel in their gut.
Appetizers.
Yeah.
Saltwater crocodile, though. You wouldn't want to see him in a dark alley.
The podcast.
Well, next up, we're going to do some more random lists that Katherine likes to share with people.
Is that a segment name?
I have just found that I really like to find lists of things and then see how long I can get us can hold your attention. This one is interesting though. This one is called it was created by The Economist, so you know it's legitimate. This one is real, unlike the most popular foods. This has facts.
That was the weirdest list ever.
Sashimi, fifth most popular food in the world.
This one is real. I mean, they actually did some research. There's some consistency in the methodology. It's called The Economist Where to Be Born Index, previously known as the Quality of Life Index. I don't know why they changed the name. I wonder if it was just somehow offensive, like the quality of life people were, but this one is like where you should be.
Too many people moved out of
born.
Botswana and they got really pissed.
Like, I don't know why they needed to rename it, but they did. So
Is the first answer a delivery room? Because that would be my preference.
yeah, not the backseat of a taxi. So Where to Be Born Index uses a bunch of variables. I'm just going to name a few because this is so legitimate. I'm trying to sound legitimate. It incorporates the quality of family life, life expectancy, climate, personal physical security. Are you safe? Quality of community life, governance, everything. Where do you want to be born? And I really now things are actually starting to become clear, because I actually brought this list to your attention because I needed to make Jimmy feel better after the 2020 accent incident. So it turns out that of all our countries, Australia is the highest on this list.
Yes,
What?
Guess
I knew it.
what
I knew it.
country Australia is higher than?
Pandering.
Amazing country.
Guess.
Got everything you'd ever need, including
Is
saltwater
this all
crocodiles.
just based on surveys, or is this actual statistical data? It's not.
Statistical data.
Whoa.
It's just based on obvious things you can observe.
Why couldn't England have taken Australia for their own? What were we thinking?
So good news, Jimmy. Australia ranks 4th in the 2019 rankings, and New Zealand ranks 9th.
They better be. Oh, that's even still too close to comfort.
Unfortunately, Great Britain,
No, I'm dying to hear where Great Britain is.
the United Kingdom, is 17th, one ahead of Canada.
Oh my God.
So that's actually
Ahead of Canada.
Ahead of
I know.
Canada.
Isn't that
I'm
weird?
surprised Canada's that low.
Canada has dropped in the rankings in the last years.
I need to know how they came up with this list.
I told you.
Based on the number of times your leader wears blackface.
Yeah, that's what's really hurt their standings.
job security, political freedoms, divorce rates, life expectancy, GDP, governance, gender equality, everything that matters. And there's some subjective, they interview, and it's qualitative and quantitative, this survey. So it's pretty legit.
So
Australia.
That term, Katherine, like the most livable city, I remember, like, it's a weird term, and I hadn't heard it, growing up as a kid or whatever. And I remember when I went, so I lived in Australia in a city called Brisbane, which is the capital of the state that I was in. And I went to college in a town called the Gold Coast, which is about an hour away. Very popular, like, tourist destination in Australia, a lot of beaches. It's about an hour drive, so I'd often be driving in between. And going back home to Brisbane, there was a sign that I always drive past, and it said, Brisbane, Australia's most livable city. And I was like, that's a weird terminology. But so for years, there was that sign there. And then one day I was driving, and the sign was gone. And I thought, oh, no.
Oh.
Like,
So
who they lose to?
yeah, what? Bloody Melbourne probably took us over.
But so number one on these rankings is Denmark. Not surprising.
Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, number 2, Switzerland. Number 3, Finland.
Yeah.
And number 4, Australia. Number 5, Austria. Number 6, Netherlands. 7, Iceland. 8, though, is Germany. And then we get to New Zealand, and no one wants to talk about New Zealand. So that's where we can end this segment.
Wait, what was Iceland?
Iceland was 7th.
Where does our current home fall on this list?
It's climbed. It has done better lately. Again,
really?
Don't ask me. 13.
13.
That seems high.
No,
Right after
I do
Japan,
not believe that.
right after Japan and Estonia.
What?
Well, Estonia's a pretty sweet place.
So America beat Canada by what, 5 or 6 places?
Yeah.
Come on.
And I'm wondering if I'm reading this in reverse or something. And
Jimmy
I
just
know,
got
New Zealand
done
should be ahead of
telling-
Australia.
and the
Adam,
country right after
I'm gonna
Canada
close
is
your
the
browser.
top.
Jimmy just got done telling us about a 20-foot crocodile that could eat you in one bite. And then suddenly they're the world's top. I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's a python under every toilet seat. There's a spider on every pillow.
I like how you, Catherine, spent the first minute just expressing how accurate and scientific the ranking was.
Yeah,
You know,
they
like,
put
this
New
is all
Zealand
wrong.
in the top 10 though. So.
Oh, and then
I
Finland's
didn't-
numbered.
I literally didn't. I don't want another favorite food disaster.
Let's do a Commonwealth sports personality deep dive. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Ooh.
Let's talk about Phil the Power Taylor.
Whoa, Phil.
Who is that?
Legend.
So you know who he is, Pierce?
He's a
I would
darts
expect
player.
you to. Yes, he is the Wayne Gretzky of darts. Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right. So let's just.
Wayne Gretzky is the Wayne Gretzky of darts, obviously.
That's true. If we did a head-to-head and we did Phil Taylor versus Wayne Gretzky at darts, Gretzky would win. But otherwise,
Gretzky would win.
But Phil the Power Taylor, okay, other than just having a great nickname, is the richest and most successful darts player in history. He dominated darts for over 2 decades,
Rich
85 major titles, 16 world championships. In 2015, the BBC rated him as among the 10 greatest British sportsmen of the last 35 years,
Wow.
My
which
God.
presupposes that darts is a sport. I don't know. I don't know if we want to debate that. I don't know. Is darts a sport?
No, I don't know. Sure, whatever.
It's
chess is a
basically
sport.
archery. You know, it's might as well be. If archery is a sport, darts is a sport. It's only because everyone plays it at a bar.
Okay, well, is archery a sport? I mean, there's no question that hand-eye coordination is a key element. Do you break a sweat playing darts?
Well,
No.
if you're up against Phil Taylor, you would.
A cold sweat.
Sports on breaking
You
sweat.
consume a lot more liquid than you expel playing darts.
Okay. Have we established why his nickname is the Power? Is it like
that's
has he got like an incredible trajectory of his dart throw or something like that?
You know, a lot of times you ask a question on this pod and the person doesn't have the answer because they haven't done their research. But in this case, Jimmy, his original nickname was the
Definitely not.
Crafty Potter. Okay? That was his original nickname.
Why did he change it? Why would you ever
and that-
change it?
He
If
wasn't
you-
getting
Here's how it
rolled.
changed. In July 1995, he was given the nickname The Power by Sky Sports production manager Peter Judge during the 1995 World Match Play in Blackpool because he serendipitously stepped on an empty CD case of Snap's The Power.
Wow.
And
okay.
the guy was like, "Oh, we're going to call you The Power now because you stepped on something that was called The Power." Yeah.
If only he stepped on some bare naked ladies. Did Katherine and Piers, did either of you also feel when Adam unsubtly is just like, oh, did you want to know if I did my research? Some podcast hosts don't become prepared. And then he whips out his bloody
Who are you
encyclopedia there.
referring to?
What was that? Your defensiveness. What?
I don't know. Hey, you used the word serendipitously, so that was fun for everyone. Okay, so that's all right. So that is not the answer I was expecting for someone who's called The Power. It's because he stepped on a bloody CD case.
Like that's more of like a rugby nickname or something. The Power.
Yeah.
Or wrestling or
I didn't realize how much of a big deal these darts tournaments are. Like I've seen it on
Yeah.
ESPN and stuff recently. I always assumed it was just a bunch of guys having fun. No one's taking it seriously, but it is like the fans and the competitors. It's like
it was a big deal in the 80s. And then sometime in the 90s they lost all their like TV sponsorship. There was a big
Why?
schism in the dart world actually, where a bunch of the top players left the main dart governing body and formed their own, and it was a big controversy.
Tell us.
they
more.
formed a rival dart association.
16 of the top-rated players left the British Darts Organization, the BDO, to form their own organization, the World Darts Council.
Wow.
And I think amongst that, they lost some TV sponsorship, and it became less popular. And
This is scandalous.
darts controversy. The darts
Great.
controversy sounds like a spy novel. All right, well that's Phil the
All right.
Power Taylor.
That was cool.
By the way, he sells apparel online. You
Oh
can
my
buy
gosh.
like a hat.
get some
You can buy
merch.
darts. Yeah, you get some merch. Yeah.
Can I
He-
get
he
some?
sells-
Can I get some Shifty Cobbler merch? I still
Yeah.
prefer that nickname.
Shifty Cobbler? Did you mean Crafty Potter?
The podcast.
Hey, we're going back in time for a little Commonwealth history, everybody. We're going back to what?
I said, yay.
Oh. We're going, of course, to Grenada. Ooh, I want to take you to Bermuda, Bahamas. Grenada is it's a country just north of Venezuela. And a number of years ago, the United States invaded Grenada in 1983. Grenada is a country that was, quote unquote, discovered by Christopher Columbus between Puerto Rico and Venezuela. It gained independence from the British in 1974. And in 1983, it was threatening to fall under communist rule at a time when the U.S. and the communists, the tensions were very high. And Reagan didn't like what he saw and called Fort Bragg and said, send in the troops. The only problem was in Fort Bragg, they didn't have a single map of Grenada. And this is before you could Google it. So some very enterprising sergeant said he'd go into town and go to the local, tourist, go to the tourist, whatever they're called.
Bureau?
Fucking hell.
Quarantine has broken Piers.
What are they called?
Tourist Bureau.
Tourist Bureau. What are the people? the ones that help you go on holiday. What are they called?
Travel agency.
Travel agent. He went into a travel agent and got a map, a tourist map of Grenada, and he took it back, and that was used to invade the country.
What?
Really? That's
Did it
amazing.
have- it's like those cartoon tourist maps where they're like,
Yes.
they enlarge like those parts.
This is where you'll see the turtles. This is where you get a margarita. Exactly.
That's so funny.
They got all of their intel from some articles they cut out of The Economist.
That's
Uh-oh.
wild.
As Catherine just demonstrated, that's not a highly accurate source.
And armed with this, they and a coalition of 6 Caribbean nations, including some Commonwealth All-Stars, Barbados, Jamaica, Antigua, and Barbuda, St.
Whoa.
Lucia,
That's the who's who
and
of
St.
the.
Vincent. They attacked Grenada and took it over in 3 days, codenamed Operation Fury.
An aggressive name.
It's aggressive for
Uh,
using tourist map.
And for the next years, they installed a sort of puppet regime, I guess, ruled by Prime Minister Eric Gary, who was supported by a vicious political group called the Mongoose gangs.
No.
No joke. Named so because they initially came together in a government program to eradicate the island's mongoose population.
That is amazing.
Oh my gosh. You did it, Piers. You brought mongoose in legitimately.
Legitimate mongoose.
I think legitimate mongoose is instant MVP. That's got to be a pod rule going forward.
And also, Piers needs it.
Yeah. Also, for Piers' sanity, we need to send help over to Piers, by the way.
First time ever, MVP is awarded in the middle of the episode because it was needed.
It was needed.
No, the mongoose.
Everyone give Piers a compliment. Oh my gosh. That's so wild, though. They invaded based off a tourist map.
Off a tourist map, and their intel was based on some notes from The Economist.
That travel agent must have got one heck of a commission, though, with like getting the entire U.S. Army from a military base.
I think he walked in and the person behind the desk thought, "Ooh, a sale," and he just grabbed some tourist maps.
Sorry, Grenada. Just gotta go invade a country. Just mind if I take this?
Well, what's Grenada like at this time of year? And then just left.
Overrun with mongooses.
Well, not anymore because they.
Right. That's so cool.
The mongoose gangs.
You just saved the episode, Piers, for real.
From myself, I saved the episode from myself.
That's the best kind of save.
Uncommon wealth.
Okay, well, we know MVP. We just need a episode title.
Mongoose gang.
The Mongoose gang.
Yeah.
By the fourth time they've heard us reference a mongoose, they're like, I don't know why I do it, but that's a thing.
Like the Empire, we're almost done. We hope that you've had lots of fun. Was it relevant? Probably not. But thanks for giving this part a shot. Stay tuned for the end of Uncommon Wealth, the podcast. Stay tuned for Uncommon Takes.
At some point, I was thinking about all our jokes with mongooses. We should probably explain, or in the outtakes of an episode.
Yeah, people are like, why do they keep talking about mongooses?
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. You just got to go back to the beginning.
Yeah, it'll just become a thing. That the
Uncommon Takes.
Do you know how many dumb things I say on this podcast? Lately, I've been noticing that I say about half of the things I say, if you Google them, are like not true.
Uncommon Wealth, the podcast.